Yeah, the Pac-12 is getting its media deal here by the end of March.
Yeah.
What an exciting time.
Again,
What do we think it's going to be?
I expect it to be around $10 million.
No, I mean like who?
Oh, my guess is probably streaming services will play a huge component. They said multiple partners.
Probably
so,
CW.
yeah, you get the CW may get mixed in there. Maybe something, you might end with some on Amazon or Apple. They were kicking around that when the original one, before the fall of the Pac-12, there was the rumor, that Apple was part of that. And for a streaming service that wants to dip their toe in the water, this is going to be a very cheap way to do it. Again, you're looking at roughly $10 million per school. Maybe a little bit less, so if you're talking about $8 million and you're not going to be paying for all the games, for a streaming service that wants to get in on something like that, it's going to be a very low entry point. And the Pac-12 does have, remember, the one thing they kept was all the equipment and the studios in the Pac-12. So that'll be an attractive thing to TV partners that you don't have to invest in that money. So my guess is it's probably spread out over at least one terrestrial option, one cable partner, and then at least one streaming partner, and then maybe selling off some of the third rights for some of the other sports to, again, maybe another streamer.
Can you name the Pac-12 membership? The newest?
The
Pac-12?
newest?
Yeah, what are there, 7? Well, actually, there's 8.
7 right now, right?
Well, there's going to be 8.
But we don't have 8.
Well, we do have 8. It's just that one of them doesn't play football. And it's not none of it's official because it's not a league yet, technically, right?
Yes.
They've announced that they intend it to be a league.
Yes. So you have Oregon State, it's all the state schools, right? So you have Oregon State, Washington State,
Yep.
Boise State,
Yep.
Fresno State,
Correct.
That's
right.
Colorado State?
Yeah, they're in there.
San Diego State?
Yep. You're missing one.
I'm missing one. Gonzaga's basketball only. So
Yeah,
that
and that
doesn't
was
count.
that was the 8th, but they're basketball only.
Who was the last one?
It was actually before all the other
Was
states,
it before all the other states?
but it's a state.
It's a state. What am I missing? So it's a state. So there's no Cal State.
You're gonna kick yourself.
Nevada State. And Nevada's not a state.
It's
What am I?
Utah State.
Utah State.
The great Aggies.
Yes, they're the Aggies.
Yes, the Aggies.
The Aggies. So you need 2 more football schools. You need 2
Well,
more.
you need one at least.
Well, I thought you had to get to 8.
They do. So they need one more football school. That's 7. We're already at 7. So you need one.
You need one more.
But they'll probably add more. It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking there. But then Gonzaga.
Yeah, there was some talk that maybe Memphis might be interested again, that you might go kick the tires.
That'd be good.
On that again. And Memphis or a place like Tulane.
Well, I know they're still trying to talk to UNLV.
Yeah. So try to rattle the cages of one of those schools. The big thing is that once you're in the conference, hopefully you get a decent distribution deal where people can see your games. And the big one is you get a seat at the table. You said Boise State last year, which is now part of your conference. Boise State was in the college football playoff last year. You're not going to get multiple teams in, even with the expanded playoffs. You're still going to have to be the best of the group of 6, but it will give you an opportunity where if you're an Oregon State or you're Washington State and you go on a great run and you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be undefeated. But if you end up with a 10-2 or 11-1 season and win the conference, you are going to be in the conversation to have a shot at the table. So I think that's all you can really hope for. I don't think it's great. I don't think the TV deals have anything to write home about. I still think it puts you way behind the 8 ball with everyone else. You're probably not going to be able to compete when it comes to revenue sharing at the full $22.5 million the other schools are going to have. But we all knew that. Once that train left the station, it puts you at a disadvantage. But I think this keeps you afloat. I think it keeps you alive. It keeps you punching. And again, place at the table. So it's
Oregon State
it's as good as you could do.
Beavers and Cougs just got a bunch of money.
Yes.
From what was that big windfall from?
Well, it's the Rose Bowl. So
yeah, that's right.
For the next 2 years, you keep the old contract, so you get to split $50 million.
Dude, that's a lot of dough.
So you each get over the next 2 years, you'll get $25 a year. So that's a nice.
There's 2 years right there of paying your kids.
Yes, but that stuff.
Each.
I don't know if that's where that's going to go because again,
I know, but it still helps. Like, come on, that's a significant amount of money.
Yes.
And then after that, we'll see. But I don't know where the Mountain West, where do they stand on all the payouts of like breaking the Mountain West contract and all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
aren't those like those are lawsuits?
Yeah, there was, and I don't know what the deal with all that is. I'm not certain if all that stuff has been settled, but they claim that they don't owe the penalties, and look, they're gonna have some cash in the short term. It's just that there's no path forward for them to generate a bunch of money. So regardless of whether you end up having to pay those penalties to the Mountain West or not, and with the extra $50 million that you're going to get off your TV deal and some of the NCAA credits from the tournament teams, the Pac-12 will have some cash to spread around. But again, it's not just going to be Washington State and Oregon State. I'm guessing you're going to have to spread some of that money to the other teams that are coming in. And that's going to be a nice little boost for you for the next, 2 years. But the reality is still going to be that you were operating on thin budgets to begin with, and that budget just got that much thinner. But it doesn't mean that you can't be good. It doesn't mean you can't be competitive. Again, see Boise State this year. You just have to do it. You just have to do it cleaner and differently than the other schools.
So now name the 2026 Mountain West.
Okay, 2026 Mountain West. So you are going to have
there are 9 schools.
9 schools. So you have UNLV.
Yes.
Air Force.
Yes.
UNLV, Air Force, Nevada.
Yes.
UTEP.
Yes.
Is that 4?
1, 2, 3. That's 5.
Hawaii.
Yes. 6.
Who else did you go and get? Searching. Who else did you go get? Did you get New Mexico State? You got New Mexico.
But close.
You got New Mexico.
New Mexico. Yep.
But you didn't get the Aggies. Who'd you go get in Texas? Rice?
No.
No?
No.
Houston?
No. Houston's in the Big 12.
Houston's in the Big 12. Who am I missing? It's got to be someone in Texas. They didn't get Texas State.
You are missing, it is not someone in Texas. You are missing a California school.
Missing a California school.
You are missing a new ad and an old Mountain West staple.
An old Mountain West staple. All right. So then I'm going back. Who did I miss?
Use staple loosely. But.
Who did I miss in California? I'm scrolling up and down. Sacramento State wasn't there.
But they're considering it.
They're considering it.
You're close.
Sac State.
You're close.
Oh, San Jose State.
San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State in there.
And the last two?
The last two. One's a new ad.
From the MAC.
Toledo, maybe?
No, but they're considering it. Northern Illinois.
Northern. Yeah, that was the one where you're like, what? Northern Illinois?
Yeah, they moved over.
Who's the other one?
And the other one is Wyoming.
Oh, I should have gotten Wyoming.
Yeah,
they were in the Mountain West when I was in the Mountain West.
Yeah, so they're also considering Toledo, Sac State, and the Montana schools.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, either one of those conferences, it's like...
Am I wrong that the Mountain West kind of doesn't seem that much different?
It's not.
I mean, Boise State's not in there.
Just kind of there. I think of the two, I think the Pac-12 is the better of those conferences.
Well, it is, but I don't know. The Mountain West just still feels very Mountain Westy.
Well, but this is the problem. This is my only issue that I have with it is, again, if ultimately the goal is you got to get to the big dance, I certainly think there's a better path to get there in the Mountain West than there is the Pac-12. If you ask me which is the better chance to go 11-1, because ultimately it's going to come down. Any of these schools are going to have big marquee wins on their schedule. It's going to be the conference. Look at Boise State. Well, Boise State this year, their best game was a near loss to Oregon. And outside of that, it was like beating UNLV, whatever. So if you ask me which is more likely, UNLV going 11-1 or Oregon State going 11-1, I think UNLV's schedule, if they don't schedule the killers, it's a better schedule. It's an easier schedule in the Mountain West than it is the Pac-12, and that'll be the crappy part. Is if you have let's say you go 10-2 in the Pac-12 against some decent competition, right? That's a better conference than the Mountain West. But meanwhile, you got UNLV or someone over there that goes 11-1 against their slappies. There's a good chance that 11-1 team ends up going simply because at that level, no one's going to give any of those schools any credit. You're going to look at them all and be like, well, your schedule all sucks, and that team went 11-1 and you went 10-2, screw you, they're in. That's the only downside to that whole thing.
Yeah, a couple of people texting in about Cal and Stanford because they're over in the ACC, but they're taking less of a cut, at least initially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's some people that think, well, what if Cal and Stanford came back?
That's not happening.
Well, the ACC only makes
30.
Yeah, but that is a lot compared to what they would get if they came back west. It's just that they're not going to they're going to stay there until they get the full share.
Yes.
And that full share is what, 3 times, maybe
At
double
least.
what you're going to get out west.
And there's always an idea too that can change, and it still gives you a place at the table, and it gives you that Power 4 status, and it gives you an academic status. I mean, look.
Yeah, it's a weird fit over there.
It's not. It's not.
They're not changing.
No, this idea that somehow they would turn around and come back, it's just it's not going to go. And by the way, they're averaging out, because I looked at their payouts over the course of the contract. It looks like they're going to be taking home about 26.5 over the course of the ACC deal. So it obviously gets
per
big,
year.
Per year.
Yeah, that's way better than
25. We're 26.1 million per. But the other ones will. Obviously, the other ACC schools are bringing home more. But